The sun had barely set when I heard rustling near my barn. My farm wasn't much, just enough to keep me afloat, but trespassers weren't common. I grabbed the lantern and stepped out, my boots crunching against the dry dirt. That's when I saw her. A young woman, barely standing, leaning against the barn doors as if they were the only thing keeping her upright. Her dark hair was tangled, her clothes covered in dust, and her breathing was ragged. I tensed. "You lost." She flinched at my voice but didn't move. "I just need a place to rest," she whispered, her voice barely above the wind. She looked like she had been through hell. Something inside me, call it instinct, call it gut feeling, told me she wasn't dangerous, just desperate. I sighed, pushing the barn door open wider. "There's hay inside. It's warm. You can stay tonight." She hesitated, staring at me like she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Then, with a slow nod, she stepped inside. By sunrise, I found her curled up in the hay, sleeping soundly. She had a softness to her, something fragile beneath all that exhaustion. I left some eggs and bread on an old wooden crate nearby. The second I stepped back, she stirred, eyes darting to me in alarm. "It's just breakfast," I said, raising my hands in peace. She eyed the food warily but grabbed a piece of bread, chewing slowly. "Why are you helping me?" I shrugged. Seemed like the right thing to do. She looked down, almost like she was embarrassed. "I'm Lena," she finally said. "I'm Jack." A moment passed between us. Then, almost too softly, she murmured, "Thank you, Jack." Lena had been staying in the barn for 3 days when trouble came knocking. A sleek black SUV rolled up my driveway, kicking up dust. 2 men stepped out, their sharp suits a stark contrast to my worn-out flannel and jeans. Something about them screamed danger. One of them approached. "We're looking for someone," he said, pulling out a photo. "This girl. Seen her?" My stomach nodded as I recognized the face. "Lena." I kept my expression neutral. "Can't say I have." The man's gaze lingered on me for a moment before he gave a tight nod. "If you do, let us know. She's not who she says she is." When they left, I turned to find Lena standing behind the barn, her face pale. "Who are you running from?" I asked. She swallowed hard. "If they find me, I'm dead." Lena finally told me everything. She wasn't just a runaway. She was the heir to one of the largest fortunes in the country. Her father's business empire was worth billions, but after his mysterious death, someone wanted her out of the picture. "I didn't take his money," she whispered. "I walked away from all of it, but they won't let me go." My chest tightened at the raw fear in her voice. She had no one, nowhere to go, but she had me. "You're safe here," I said firmly. For the first time, she looked like she might believe it. The morning after the men in the black SUV came looking for Lena, I knew things had changed. My farm had always been a quiet, safe place. But now, danger was circling, sniffing at the edges, waiting for a chance to strike. Lena was still in the barn, sitting on a pile of hay, staring at the ground. She looked lost. "You should leave," she whispered. I frowned. "Excuse me." "You don't understand what's coming, Jack. If they find me here, they won't just take me. They'll destroy everything in their way, including you." I crossed my arms. "Well, that's just not going to happen." Her head snapped up. "Jack, this isn't your fight." I sighed, stepping closer. "It is now." Her lips parted slightly, as if she wasn't used to people standing by her side. Maybe in her old life, loyalty was just another thing that had a price tag. But out here, kindness wasn't something you earned. It was something given freely. And I wasn't about to turn my back on her. Lena's hands trembled as she gripped the old mug of coffee I had given her. We sat on the porch, watching the sun dip below the fields, but her mind was somewhere else. Somewhere darker. "They won't stop looking for me," she murmured. I exhaled slowly, rubbing the back of my neck. "Then we'll make sure they don't find you." Her eyes snapped to mine. "Jack, you don't understand. These people, they don't just stop. They don't play fair." I leaned forward, my voice steady. "Neither do I when it comes to protecting what's mine." A flicker of something passed through her gaze. Relief, maybe, or something deeper. She didn't argue. That night, I heard the crunch of tires on gravel. My gut clenched. It was late. Too late for visitors. I grabbed my shotgun from beside the door and peered out the window. A car sat at the edge of my property, headlights off, watching. Lena stood behind me, her breath hitching. "It's them." I turned to her. "Stay here." She gripped my arm. Jack, please. I pulled away and stepped outside. The car didn't move. I walked forward slowly, gripping the shotgun tight, my heartbeat steady. Then, just as I reached the fence line, the car's engine roared to life, and it peeled away, kicking up dust. A warning. They were watching, and they weren't done. I locked up the barn that night, making sure Lena was safe inside. Then I sat on my porch with the shotgun resting against my knee, staring out at the darkness. This was my land, my home. I wasn't about to let some rich thug scare me off it. When Lena stepped out onto the porch, her bare feet barely making a sound, I sighed. You should be resting. She sat beside me, pulling my old flannel tighter around her. I can't sleep. For a long time, we just sat there, listening to the wind rustling through the trees. Then she said, almost too softly, I've never had anyone fight for me before. I looked at her, the firelight from inside flickering against her face. You do now. She swallowed hard. And for the first time since she'd arrived, she looked like she truly believed it. By the next afternoon, I knew they were coming back. The SUV wasn't hiding anymore. It sat parked at the edge of my fields, a silent threat. I grabbed my rifle and stalked toward it. Before I could get close, the driver's window rolled down, and a deep voice said, This isn't your business, farmer. See, that's where you're wrong, I said, my grip tightening on the gun. This is my land. That makes it my business. The man smirked. You don't know who you're dealing with. I leaned forward slightly. Neither do you. For a second, I thought he might make a move. But then he just chuckled, rolling up the window. As the SUV drove away, I knew one thing for sure. This wasn't over. Back at the barn, Lena was pacing. We have to leave, Jack. I crossed my arms. That's exactly what they want you to do. Her eyes flashed. Then what? We just wait until they burn the place down. No, I said slowly. We make it so damn hard for them that they regret ever coming after you. For the first time, a small smile tugged at her lips. You really are stubborn. I shrugged. It's a farmer thing. She let out a breath. All right, Jack. What's the plan? I looked toward the fields, the sun dipping below the horizon. We make a stand. Lena stared at me, her green eyes dark with worry. Jack, these people aren't just going to give up. I know, I said, grabbing the old rifle my father had left me. That's why we need to be ready. She crossed her arms, shifting her weight. You think you can outfight them? I met her gaze. Not just outfight them, outsmart them. Lena exhaled, her fingers running through her tangled hair. I was raised around people like them. They don't expect a fight from someone like you. They think they can walk in and take what they want. I smirked. Then we'll make sure they walk into something they weren't expecting. I had a plan. If they wanted to come for Lena, they'd have to do it on my terms. We left the barn doors slightly open, making it look like she had fled in a hurry. I spread fresh footprints in the dirt, leading toward the backwoods. Then, I stationed myself near the tree line, rifle ready. By nightfall, they took the bait. The SUV crept back onto my land, 3 men stepping out, guns drawn. They didn't move with caution. They moved with confidence, like they'd done this before. Big mistake. As they stalked toward the barn, I raised my rifle, steadying my breath. The second one of them crossed the doorway, I fired a warning shot. The man cursed, diving for cover. We know she's here, one of them shouted. Hand her over, and no one gets hurt. I chambered another round. You already made the mistake of stepping onto my land. If you want her, you're gonna have to come take her. Silence. Then, just as I expected, a second SUV appeared, headlights glaring like 2 burning eyes in the night. This was just the beginning. The first bullet whizzed past me, hitting the wooden post behind me. I ducked, pressing my back against the barn. Lena gasped, gripping my arm. Jack, we can't win this. I clenched my jaw. We don't need to win. We just need to hold them off long enough. I fired 2 shots toward the second SUV, shattering the windshield. One of the men cursed loudly. Another shot fired back at us, hitting the edge of the barn, sending splinters flying. Lena grabbed my wrist. I know another way out. I hesitated, then nodded. Lead the way. We slipped through the back of the barn, moving fast. But just as we reached the woods, a strong hand grabbed Lena's arm, yanking her back. Found you, the man sneered. Before I could react, Lena drove her knee into his stomach, shoving him back. She wasn't just running anymore. She was fighting. And damn, was she good at it. Lena grabbed the man's gun before he could recover, pointing it at him with shaking hands. You think you can own people, she spat. That you could just take what you want. The man's lips curled. You're worth more than you know, sweetheart. I stepped in front of her, gripping my rifle. Get off my land. Now. The man chuckled. You really think this is over? I took a step closer, my voice low. It is for you. I swung the butt of my rifle, slamming it into his jaw. He crumpled, unconscious. Lena stared at me, breathless. You didn't have to do that. I shrugged. Figured it'd feel good. She gave a small, exhausted laugh. It did. We dragged the unconscious man into the barn, tying his hands with rope. He'd be out for a while, but we weren't safe yet. Lena rubbed her arms, exhaling shakily. Jack, I can't keep running. I watched her, my chest tightening. Then we don't run. She looked up at me, searching my face. What does that mean? I grabbed my rifle again. It means we take the fight to them. At dawn, I siphoned gas from the second SUV and torched their tires. If they wanted to come after Lena, they'd have to do it on foot. Then, we made our way into town. I had an old friend, Sheriff Logan. If anyone could help, it was him. The second he saw me and Lena walk into the station, he stood, arms crossed. Jack, what the hell have you gotten yourself into? I placed my hands on his desk. I need your help. Sheriff Logan didn't ask many questions. He trusted me. He made some calls, pulling up records, and that's when we found it. The men after Lena weren't just hired thugs. They were working for someone in her own family. Her uncle. Lena's breath hitched. He's behind all of this. Sheriff Logan nodded grimly. Looks like he wants you gone for good. Rage flickered in her eyes. Then we stop him. We lured them into a trap. This time, they weren't expecting the local authorities to be waiting. When the SUVs returned that night, Sheriff Logan and his deputies were hidden in the shadows.